Hello, everyone. My name is Ambrose with 3i Technologies, and this is Beyond the Device, a show where we talk about mobile endpoint technologies, vendors, all the tech related to the industry. And joining me today, we have our friends at OuterFactor. We have Dann Lemerand joining us in the studio, and we also have Chad VanderMolen. Welcome, guys. Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Let's start off with you. Why don't you give us a bit of an intro, your background?
Dann Lemerand. I'm the VP General Manager of Healthcare and Life Sciences here at OuterFactor. I've been in the healthcare IT space for 25 years, the last 6 years probably in the mobility space, focusing on the things that hospitals use to do clinical communications, unified communications within the facilities.
Great. Thank you for that. And thank you for coming in from Detroit, right?
Yep, local.
All right. Chad, let's kick it over to you. What's your background?
Not quite a local kid, coming in from Southern California, San Diego. I'm Chad VanderMolen, Director of Enterprise Sales for OuterFactor. I've been in the mobile protection industry for 13 years now. Most recently was heading up retail sales on our commercial side of our business for my previous company. Really looking forward to being here. Dan and I go back a ways, and yeah, this is going to be fun.
So this specific episode, we wanted to talk about healthcare solutions, kind of clinical workflows, like what that all entails, what the technology is in that. So let's talk about why healthcare needs purpose-built products.
Sure. Yeah. In healthcare, you've got clinicians running around 24/7 trying to take care of patients, and they're doing most of that with mobile devices. So iPads, iPhones, other tablets and phones within the facility. And it's a large investment for the facility to put millions of dollars into these tablets and smartphones. They need to be protected and they need to be easily cleaned. So the protection of the case and the glass and hand straps and all those things need to be cleanable for healthcare, but they need to be usable. So when you look at a nurse sitting bedside with a patient, they're doing charting, they're doing orders, and the phone needs to be, the case in it with the phone needs to be ergonomically correct. It needs to be comfortable, not bulky, fit in and out of their scrubs easily. We'll do that charting.
What about customization? I've seen requests for logos and specific types of screen protectors. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, in the healthcare space, when a patient's laying in the bed, they want to know that the device that the clinician is using belongs to that facility and it's not their own personal device. Apple has leaned into that as a use case and an issue. We're leaning into that with our custom color Pantones and our ability to custom print onto any of those devices their logo. And what's interesting about how OuterFactor is doing that, we have a proprietary way of printing that allows for the continual rigorous cleaning of that print without it coming off. We've actually sent those devices through infection control at a handful of our facilities to see if we can get them to clean off that print, and it does not come off.
So what's getting printed on that? Is it a logo? There's some other things too, like there was people, I saw like QR codes, asset tags, that sort of thing?
Yeah, so we're looking at the cases a couple of different ways. We can print any number of things onto the back of the case. So if it's a QR code, which is in place of an asset tag, we can do that. And then we're also creating the ability to print partial on the back of a clear case so that you can actually see the asset tag attached to the phone through the case. Most of what we're printing today is the facility logo in their custom colors. And then we have some instances where we're putting the floor or the unit name on the back of the case.
So there are a lot of OEM partners out there that you're partnering with. What are some of the key devices?
Yeah, I think from an OuterFactor standpoint, we're protecting any of the devices that any of our customers are deploying to their facilities or to their employees. If you're talking Apple, you're going iPhone 16e, iPhone 16, you're going iPad, iPad mini. If you're going Samsung, you're going Tab Active, you're going Xcover Pro, Xcover 6 Pro, Xcover 7 Pro, any of those. And I think what we're trying to do at OuterFactor is make sure that any device that's being deployed from any of our customers, we're able to protect those devices, because anytime a device goes down, they're losing money. They're not able to support their end customer or consumer. We're making sure to protect anything that's being deployed from any of our OEM partners, and then ultimately partnering with the OEM directly to ensure that we're providing the best solution possible for the end customer.
So Apple seems to dominate front of house in healthcare. What are the devices that are trending there?
Yeah, it's 16E is getting a lot of traction. It's a sub $1,000 phone with all the things that a clinician would need to use. It does come with a card for a carrier, but most facilities have shared devices and they're not looking to do a carrier service or a cell service on those phones. So the 16E, 16, a lot of facilities are using probably N-3, in which we have the ability to put cases on as well, and then iPads, both the 10th, 11th gen, and then the iPad 11-inch Pro is another device that's used a lot for charting, a lot of bedside, and then iPads mounted to beds for patient entertainment is another big use case in healthcare.
So I take it you have other strategic OEM relationships with the mounting companies too, to mount like patient bedside or an ambulance, that sort of thing?
Yeah, any of the big players in the mounting space, whether that's bedside mounting, so mounting a bracket to a bar on the bedside, or even the carts that get rolled out from room to room. A lot of them are starting to move to Apple devices, so iPads on a lot of those mounting brackets, both for patient education, patient entertainment, and then even MyChart Bedside, which is another big opportunity for cases and glass where the patient has access to their medical record on that iPad.
Oh, so they're in the bed. They've got the iPad. They have their record. They're probably communicating updates and stuff through there.
Yeah, they can get all their results. They can get all the education that they need for whatever they're in the facility for, both the patient and the patient's family.
So in my experience, I have to do a lot of transportation solutions. Do come across the other segment of healthcare, which is transportation in ambulance, patient transportation, work vehicle sort of maintenance, that sort of thing. We do have a lot of kind of good, better, best mounting solutions. Is that a workflow that you see in healthcare?
Yeah, I mean, transportation is a big part of it. So whether you're talking about a helicopter, if it's a life flight, if it's an ambulance, or even moving patients throughout the facility, there's the need to mount those devices so that you have access to the information. I think the idea of being able to put an iPad or a tablet one location to another, being able to detach it from the ambulance and put it into the life flight, and then the life flight back into the hospital. You have to have that plethora of solutions to be able to do that for that continuity of care.
Yeah, and the clinician may not need the same exact device. So if back of house, if transportation, or if like kitchen maintenance, they may be a little bit more flexible on what kind of endpoint device that they're going to use. So it's good to see that we've got accessories to kind of help with every segment within healthcare.
That too, it's not always the same software. So supply chain's driving, one side of healthcare. So they don't need access to the EMR or the EHR. You have food services, patient transport. Patient transport might have access to a certain part of the EHR, but they don't need all the clinical side. So when we talk about the different devices that are being used, they all need to be protected, but they're all being used in a different way in different parts of the facility.
So I'm curious to know, you're working with end users every single day. How do you collaborate with the IT staff in healthcare organizations?
It actually happens in a couple of different ways, whether it's brought in by the reseller. I can be brought in to the reseller, with the reseller to the facility. I'm reaching out to hospitals and asking them how they're using devices, where they're using them, more to educate. So really it's this three-legged stool of the customer, myself as a vertical lead, and then the actual reseller. So my role is reaching out to the end user. Again, what are you using? Where are you using it? How do we protect those devices? How do we make sure? Because I want you to get the most out of that investment, especially when you're spending that much money on phones and tablets. We want to be able to protect it.
And then we've got the other side of the process, the procurement process. We've got the organizations procuring through the channel. Chad, you want to elaborate on that?
Sure. Yeah. I think the unique thing, and Dan just mentioned the three-legged stool or horse or whatever, I call it the love triangle, where it's customer, OEM, and reseller, right? We need to make sure everyone's working in cahoots together to provide the best solution for the customer. And so when we're out there, we're asking the customer, hey, what is it that you really need? We know that you have the device. We know that you need a case to protect that device. what are the other things that you need? Is it an armband? Is it a mount? Is it a strap? Is it a glass? Is it whatever that is, right? And then ultimately what we would try to do, and Dan, I assume you do the same thing, is put together a menu of what they really need so that the customer can then go to their channel partner and say, hey, I was just talking to OuterFactor and we were talking about the whole solution. This is exactly what I need. Here are all the SKU numbers. Here's everything we need to bring the full solution together. And we're trying to basically make it as easy as possible, not only for the customer, right? The customer doesn't want to have to call every different vendor partner and say, well, I need a pricing for the strap and I need a pricing for the glass or whatever, right? We don't want them to have a bunch of touch points. We want to bring it to them, let them know, hey, just take this to your reseller partner. And then the reseller loves it because they didn't necessarily have to do a ton of lifting because the customer has it coming from us. So that's really the strategy that I see with my customers and how I approach it to make it as easy as possible for everyone involved in that three-legged stool or the love triangle.
That's good. Some of these mobile deployments can be very complicated and confusing. So whatever we can do at the end of the day to make it's easy to buy for the customer and the reseller partners, it's easy to understand and process on their back end.
Totally. I mean, Dan talked about having a Rolodex of partners that you can reach out to in the mounting space and others. I think a big value add that we bring at OuterFactor to our customers is we know our products. We know they work. We know that they're going to protect their devices. But what else can we do as a one-stop shop? Hey, I need a mount. Let me call my friend over at mounting company X and say, hey, I have a customer that needs some help with this specific use case. Can you help? Yes or no? Let's get us together and go help the customer succeed. That's another value add that I think that we bring to our customers, our partners, everything. Is we want to be as collaborative as possible and be as easy as possible to deal with.
So 3i, we're the primary distributor of OuterFactor. So that is a channel-only brand. Yep. And there is no consumer-facing website. It is B2B first. What else am I missing?
That's a big part of it. We don't have a consumer brand. We're channel only, which our role in that three-legged stool to facilitate the sales process with our resellers is that we have things like a very simple deal reg. So the reps that we come in contact with every day want to know, how do I bring your stuff in front of a customer without having to go through a bunch of work? So our deal reg process is pretty streamlined. Our deal reg gives a pretty good opportunity to get good margins. So that's helping us with the resellers as well.
I believe we're on year 3 of OuterFactor, forming an organization. You two just recently brought on. What makes you excited to be on the team?
Yeah, I've only been here for a couple of months, and man, it's exciting to work with a group of people that are thinking about the business the same way. We want to grow, but we also know that, there's things that we need to do as a smaller, younger company. But man, I'm excited about the product. I'm excited about the number of resellers that are excited about what we do. We're getting, as Chad mentioned, we're getting excitement from the OEM partners that are seeing us as a real player in the market. Our solutions are on par with anything else that's available in the market at a much better price. And then I'm excited about our ability to support the things that we're doing. The company that I just left, while large, did not do a good job of supporting customers. It was more of a, here's your stuff, go find somebody to help you with it. We're a little bit more hands-on. We're a little bit more focused on the customer, with the customer, making sure that the things that they get are right, everything fits, you got the right amount, it's the right color. And if it's not, we're going to make it right. And to be able to think that way and be scrappy about how we take care of our customers is really what excites me.
I like the B2B first mentality. That's really exciting for the folks that I work with in the channel, just knowing that it's like they're the front lines of the deal and they get to work closely with the customer and the configuration, the customization, that sort of thing.
Yeah, and I don't have to send a customer through 40,000 consumer SKUs in order to find something that fits a specific device. The fact that we're doing the customization the way that we're doing it, the fact that we have a small subset of SKUs compared to everybody else, we're laser focused on a handful of verticals, and we're going to stay laser focused on those verticals.
Chad, I think your day, how many into the
day
role?
Like 9, something like that. And I'll echo what Dan was just saying. I think it's very evident that this team, this company everyone involved is not afraid to wear multiple hats to get anything done that needs to get done to take care of the customer or our OEM partners or anyone in the three-legged stool. I think it's just fun to be scrappy and go out and really try to go drive business, right? And take care of customers and get our foot in the door. And every new conversation, every new win, every PO, everything seems new and exciting and everyone's high-fiving each other. It's refreshing to be at a place where there's just constant excitement and you're like, guess who I just talked to today? And he's like, what? So it's really cool from an internal perspective as to where we're at. We're all aligned. We're all swimming up the same river. But the fun part as well is, and I think Dan touched on it, is our partners, our OEM partners, our reseller partners, our distributor. Everyone also is very excited about where we're headed, what we're doing. The product lineup is, as Dan mentioned, it's right on par or better than anything else on the market. And we're laser focused on bringing not only quality, but really taking care of our customers. And it's going to be fun. We're buckled up for a wild ride. It's going to be a good one.
That's great. Any recent product features that you're launching or any specific industry events that you're looking to participate in this year?
Yeah, I think what we didn't touch on earlier, there's a particular product that we make that we just sold to a large health system out west. They're doing an Epic rollout, and they needed a case that is cleanable. They had some very specific feature requests for this case. And we have this printing process where it's called IML. It's in mold labeling. So it's a multi-layered way of manufacturing where the actual label, the logo is inside the case. So you can't get to it from scratching it, scrubbing it. It's actually in the actual plastic. So it's molded inside of the plastic. This particular facility, like I said, is rolling out, I think, 9,200 of these here at the end of the month for all of their Epic users at that facility. And it's super exciting for them. The guy I was talking to the other day, and they said the end users are more excited about the case than they actually are about the device or the use case that they're actually doing. So yeah, we're super excited about that. And we're hoping to be able to take that on the road along with the rest of our product suite to a handful of events. We're hoping to be able to do JNUC, which is the Jamf Nation User Conference later this year. A really big opportunity for our MDM partners or our MDM partner in Jamf to be able to showcase what we're doing for the end user devices there. I plan on being at HIMSS early next year, which is the largest healthcare conference in the world. We've been invited to a lot of the connected solution events with 3i, where we're able to showcase our solutions to whether it's an OEM host or otherwise to be able to do those events. We've been able to do a few of those.
Yeah, the Connected Solutions Expo, if you weren't aware, that's where we're hitting 7 cities across the country together with Samsung and AT&T, showcasing mobile solutions to those folks, and then they bring their customers in and we showcase it to those. And you were at the last one, if I remember.
Yeah, I was in San Jose. It was a really good show, really good feedback. A lot of the folks, when we talk about our go-to-market or our routes to market, the ability to be in a Get Wireless portal for them to easily buy our stuff, to have customers easily buy our stuff. If you can remove that friction, that was a great way to showcase that.
And that's a wrap. Thank you so much. Big thanks to Chad and Dan for being in the studio today. If you'd like to learn more, please visit us at 3itech.com and see what's possible with 3i and OuterFactor.